Improvement Pill here. Do you feel like your attention span is getting worse? Are you struggling to focus on the tasks that you need to get done? Are you getting distracted more often than you like? Our lives are full of constant distractions. The world around us has been designed to attract our attention, enticing us with exciting colors and interesting facts. Seems like everything is pulling us from one thing to another. Research shows that nearly 50% of people feel that their attention span is shorter than it used to be, with a similar amount of people reporting that despite their best efforts, their phone is a constant distraction when they should be focusing on other, more important things. The good news is that we have power over our attention, and through intentional training and self-discipline, we can regain our attention span. In this video, we'll show you 3 crucial steps to take back control over your focus and fix your attention span. But first, to understand why our attention spans are so short, we need a bit of background. Attention and technology. Have you ever been interrupted by your phone? You've just sat down to a focused session of reading, studying, working, you name it, and suddenly your phone screen lights up with that familiar notification buzz, which might as well be saying, "Look at me." The next thing you know, you've been sucked into scrolling on your phone, tumbling down a rabbit hole of social media posts and short videos you won't even remember you'd seen by tomorrow. It's a situation many of us have found ourselves in time and time again, and there's a good reason for it. Phone apps and social media marketing technology are doing everything possible to compete for our attention. They're specifically designed to entice us and keep us using our phones. In fact, this actually has a name. It's called persuasive technology. If you think about it, our phones have been engineered to grab our attention, and tech developers actively play into this. Red notification bubbles, brightly colored apps, flashy subtitles. The algorithms used by social media apps are designed to keep track of what you watch and interact with, and they will then push more of the things you like to keep your attention longer. So how can we escape this cycle and fix our attention span, especially in a world where attention is a valuable commodity? Well, there are 2 things you can do to help fix this: adapting your environment for optimal focus and conditioning your mind to be less susceptible to distractions. In other words, external and internal factors. If you find it difficult to focus, your attention going from one thing to another might be because of one reason, and that is boredom. You ever notice yourself feeling uncomfortable or bored when you aren't doing anything? The act of sitting still can be difficult, and this can be a big factor in our distractibility. If we're uncomfortable with sitting still or doing nothing, then we're going to seek out distractions. Our minds are going to look for interesting things to watch or do, and we're conditioned to feel this way. The good news is that we can train ourselves to be more comfortable with doing nothing or feeling bored, and this will mean that we can focus on tasks for longer periods of time. In fact, research shows that people who experience moderate levels of boredom are more likely to be more creative and can problem solve better. Now we understand the reasons we have a short attention span. Let's get right into the steps you can take to fix it. The first step is to stop multitasking. Now imagine this. You're watching a video on your TV and playing on your phone. Your attention is divided between the two, and you're not focused on either. Alternatively, you focus watching only the video, and you don't touch your phone. At first, you might feel bored or antsy, but the more you focus on doing one thing at a time, the better you'll get at focusing, improving your attention span in the long run. There are other benefits to being more intentional with how many tasks you do at once, too. A study run by Stanford University found that people who multitask have reduced memory, as multitaskers performed worse on simple memory tasks than those who opted to stick to one task at a time. Author of the book Hyperfocus and productivity guru Chris Bailey is an advocate for being more intentional with your tasks, time, and focus. He says, specifically setting intentions can double or even triple your odds of success. Bailey writes about the concept of hyperfocus, where we're locked in and focused on one task, versus scatter focus, which we tend to have when trying to focus on multiple things. This isn't a new concept, with Cal Newport's book Deep Work delving into similar theories around deep work versus shallow work. Opting to focus on one thing over multitasking will help you achieve this hyper-focus, or deep work, and your attention span will be better because of it. Another way you can train your attention is through meditation. You might be thinking, meditation? Ugh, here we go again. But hear us out. The benefits of meditation, sitting still, and training the mind to observe rather than get swept up in the everyday thoughts, feelings, and impulses we have are hugely beneficial for training attention span. Imagine you're sitting on a riverbank. The stream of water is fast and unrelenting, the current unruly. The river is your stream of consciousness, or your thoughts. Stopping the flow of the river isn't an option. You can either sit and observe, or you can get in the water and splash around. Splashing around in the water is disruptive and very distracting, just like allowing yourself to run away with your thoughts is. Getting swept up in those constant thoughts and feelings is terrible for your focus and attention span. Meditation teaches you to observe your thoughts and feelings without getting caught up in them. You can simply acknowledge they exist and allow the water to pass without getting in. You might be asking, but where do I start? There are thousands of guided meditations out there. We've even got a playlist called Meditation 101 that you can check out if you want to give it a try. Alternatively, if prolonged and repetitive practices like meditation aren't for you, there's good news. One study asked subjects to sit for 17 minutes and focus on their breathing and how their body felt. If their mind wandered, they were asked to notice this and bring it back to focus on the exercise. The people who did this exercise just once were found to have a better attention span. Sitting for just 17 minutes in this way also improved memory and slowed cognitive decline related to aging. So it doesn't have to be a huge commitment. It can be a single exercise and your attention can be better off. The last way you can train your attention span is to do nothing. When was the last time you just sat for a long period of time and did absolutely nothing? No videos, no podcasts, no games, phones, books, absolutely nothing. Learning to sit and do nothing might seem counterintuitive, but it can actually have a really beneficial effect on our attention. At first, your mind might start to race with all kinds of thoughts, but you can't give in and get distracted by them. Just sitting and letting them occur is enough. Eventually, these thoughts will slow down, and you'll start to feel more relaxed, settled, and your mind will have more space to be creative. Instead of your attention going from one thing to another, you're training it to settle, therefore increasing your attention span. If sitting and doing nothing for a long period of time sounds difficult, you can try taking a long walk with no distractions. Just make sure you don't use headphones or your phone to take away your attention. Living in a world where everything wants to grab our attention can seem like an uphill battle when we have ever-growing to-do lists. But we have more control over our focus than we might think. Mastering our attention span takes intention and discipline. But with sustained work, we can take back the reins and start choosing where we put our attention again. Reducing multitasking, practicing meditation, or even doing absolutely nothing are all ways you can train your attention. It might seem difficult at first, but with time, it'll get easier. Your focus and productivity will get better. Do you have any tips on getting distracted? Comment down below and let us know. And as ever, stay tuned.